So we've mostly been focusing on Yolandi, and this is, I'm guessing, hoping maybe this will be the final one talking about these people. You might think, why does this affect me? Why do I even care? I don't normally look at these things, pay attention to their videos, watch their movies. They don't really exist in my world. Why should I care? The reason you should care is because, while it may not personally affect you and your heart, while you're working really hard to keep your heart pure and sanctified, walking in the ways of the Lord and so on and so forth, which is good. We should walk in our sanctification. We also kind of have to walk that balance of also exposing evil. So it's kind of a interesting dichotomy of two two directives that we have to think on those things that are pure and lovely and true and a good rapport, but then also at the same time to expose that which is evil. And it's not just, something happening in your neighbor's backyard where you can't really have it affect the rest of the world. You're having it happen in all the media outlets. You're having it being pushed as a philosophy. They're not just selling pictures or music. It's so much more than that. It is creating pop culture disciples. It is so much more about augmenting the fabric of society and turning the directives of people's hearts and minds away from Christ and towards the Antichrist. And when you're away for a while, you really don't notice the progression of evil, but it really is interesting to see. I mean, if you just even think of how movies and TV shows and things were back in the 60s, for example, and now, that looks tame compared to what you have happening now. All of this Luciferian, satanic, high energy type of imagery and music and programming and material that is, coming from 1,000 different places. And there are people out there that live on this. There are people who are out there, and this is what they love. This is important to know this stuff. Here it talks about the 666 hand gesture that people are being programmed with. The Hindu mudra, known as the 666 hand, is also depicted in several videos that they do. And so you can see that there. Oh, I didn't even see him back there. Just the promotion of this South African duo rapper group who are, making a lot of money over here in America and then going and doing, I assume world tours and whatnot. Uh, I thought this was interesting because I read about this a lot in our culture. We're seeing it as kind of a political movement, but if you understood that it's not just a political movement on its own, it's really about a religious worshiping system of religion that encapsulates the worship of the divine androgyne. We've talked about that on a lot of videos, and I'm always directing people to go over to Trans Apocalypse Now's channel because he will show you the writings from the Masons, and he will show you this direction that mankind is being pushed and forced into, and they're doing it really interesting through the political realm and through the social justice warriors, actually. And then on the other end of it, you have people like Kanye West and many, many others who are all, suddenly developing this religion and this, spirituality, and even branding it born again Christian, very, very clearly dropping those titles on something that is ecumenical in nature and has this real, we all need to come into one in unity. And part of that unity is bringing in everything. And so that left-handed path of a political agenda of, the LGBT rainbow mafia and the transgenderism being pushed as if it is a social ill that needs to be elevated to a position of strength and power beyond everything else. That is a spiritual position. That is a worship of an ancient evil so dark and so vile and so wicked. And that's what this is talking about here. While people are being programmed. Oh, she's holding a duck. Good grief. Run, ducky, run! They are promoting an agenda for the worship of these ancient evils. This is going somewhere. You might look at this and go, this is disgusting. I want nothing to do with it. Trust me, I understand. But the Christian world, one of the ways that we are losing the culture battle severely is by keeping ourselves in this ignorance and by, I hate when churches use the phrase holy huddles because that's really annoying. But when you have the whole culture exploding off in, unmitigated, uncontrolled, absolute chaos and insanity, and then it goes to the mainstream, you now have something out of the box that you can't stuff back in there is part of the problem. So the salt that is supposed to keep the rot from occurring is actually just sitting back, closing their eyes and pretending like, oh, everything's fine. When in all reality, what you have is you're standing down. Churches are standing down. Pastors are standing down. Mothers and fathers are standing down. Teachers and educators and community organizers, all kinds of people are standing down while you sit there and you watch the leaven grow. You watch the leaven grow. And what did Jesus say that leaven would do? But it would leaven the whole lump. So let's go into this. Let's look at this. Let's be brave. Let's do our job as Christians and be bold. General satanic creepiness and mind control. We can see other symbols hidden in this group, Antwoord catalog, that indicate different facets of this Illuminati agenda. This includes now he's going to call it hermaphroditic symbols and confusion of sexual bits as body parts and pieces with the artwork on the wall. And I think you freaky, which also shows that word that is used to keep demons in our universe, according to the practitioners of magic. Okay, yeah, so the bodily fluids, okay, they're like catnip to the demons. So when you do something bad to wield your magic to get your way, to worship Lucifer, he'll give you stuff because all you have to do is hurt someone or something. This cute little sweet ducky, run, ducky, run! And Lucifer will hook you up for a temporary little time. So this is disgusting and evil and gross, but you better wake up because this is what's becoming mainstream. And as you have teachers and students and families and all kinds of people, they are saying, oh, well, we just need to succumb to this transgenderism. You better understand it's satanic. As you have doctors that are helping children transition, you better get a handle on the fact that this is from an ancient evil. It is from the devil. It is from Inanna. It is from the worship of the Babylonian gods. It goes back to the Garden of Eden, that you shall be as gods. It's rebellion. It's the clearest, simplest rebellion of your body when you go, I'm a girl, but I want to be something else that I'm not. And it's a big giant, I hate you to God. That's what's going on. And people are just accepting it and kowtowing and going, okay, well, the doctor said that we should let little Billy grow boobies and get hormone shots. And all the while, where's the church? Nowhere, because the church has been told to shut up. You don't have a voice in this. You just shut up, is what they tell us, and then the evil grows. And that's what's happening. So the hermaphrodite is a concept familiar to those who follow the left-hand path. Well, I don't follow it, but I know about it because I don't stick my head in the sand and pretend like everything's fine and dandy. Because it's not. Because they seek to destroy all aspects of, quote, the normal world and deconstruct God's creation and rebuild the world as their own, right? The phoenix rising out of the ashes is what we're talking about. And there are powerful people in positions of influence with money. They have a desire and a dream to sculpt the world and usurp the powers of this world, to usurp God's power and to utilize the powers of this world to basically run everything under the ground. And they want everybody in on it. They believe that all things should be considered and explored. I remember a Shakira song saying try everything in a simple Disney movie, Disney's evil, called Zootopia. My husband went, try everything, and this was being piped into our children's ears. This is when we were still a little dull and not quite catching everything. Everything's a step further into waking up. You're either going to wake up or you're going to get mowed over. And I can tell you that the church, by and large, is getting mowed over. You should probably do something about that because we're supposed to be helping our fellow man. They don't see Satanism when they see Rainbow Mafia. They see social justice warrior. They see, oh, you're going to be a bully. No, I don't have the slightest interest in being a bully. I have the slightest interest in what is this psychopath going to do with this duck in the name of screwing up your kid's heart and mind and the purveying of the witchcraft. That's what I'm concerned about. There's not many who are awake. And if they are awake, there's not many who care. And if there are people who care, there's not many who give rise to warn others because it's sticky. And who wants to be worrying about all this evil when you can just sit back and do nothing and let it grow, right? That's how so many people are. Not everybody, but so many. This is a concept referred to as antinomianism. And we see men dressing as women and even trying to become a woman. See every 80s rock band like Motley Crue and also David Bowie. He makes a fabulous point there because when you sit back and you think about the TV shows that you grew up on or like the movies, I mean, think back. Tootsie, right? Wasn't it Dustin Hoffman pretending to be a woman? For some reason, my caregivers took me to that. Well, not the one, but the other one. So that was weird. You think back to how Tom Hanks' career began in television. Was he not pretending to be a female? I mean, and he's so true about the 80s hair bands and all that stuff. You see how people were dressing like women. It all makes sense now. So also, in fact, and this isn't new either, but you have to kind of see how it all spins together. And it's been happening incrementally over so long. This is false religion. This is what Satanism does. This is where Satan takes you to. It is efficacious to cut your healthy breasts off and try to become a boy, or to cut your healthy penis off and try to get a doctor-made vagina. These things are not normal. And even with doctors tinkering with that kind of thing, and they are open, hours and hours and hours a day to do these surgeries, what you make through man's practices does not equal what God made initially. So there's a whole form and function thing that is misaligned when they do these practices. And then oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes there is a measure of regret. And once you cut something off, you're probably not going to be able to get it back the way it was again. So this is the promotion of the agenda with this older album, Marilyn Manson. Look, girl's name, boy's name, together. Mechanical animals, AI and animals. They consider you an animal in Satanism. He'll explain to you. So he's supposed to have, non-descriptive genitalia and then breasts. This is what Satan wants to do and take you. So look, this is going to be gross, but you need to know this stuff. It just, a whole world is spinning and nobody cares. And yet the evil continues to advance and it's going somewhere. It's affecting the fabric of people's hearts and minds. And we know because look at what's happened to society. Just look around. And it's a good portion of it is because the churches obeyed somebody telling them, shut up. You don't get to voice your opinion in this. Just shut up. Well, I say no. So the concept behind mechanical animals is that it follows, the Church of Satan's doctrine that says man is no better than an animal. The concept was highlighted in the exploration of Maroon 5's Animals, which is very disgusting. Good Fight Ministries did a great expose on that, Joe. If you take a step back and you look at the title, you'll see the term animal is often used to describe mankind by Satanists. It's actually the seventh command in the Church of Satan. I didn't know they had commands. Satan represents man as just another animal, sometimes better, more often worse than those that walk on all fours, who, because of his, quote, divine spirit and intellectual development, have become the most vicious animals of us all. This plays into the backstory of all the videos that I've done talking about where Aurora or other entities are pointing to their stomachs. They're pointing to, Twigs has the eyeball in her stomach. the tribal dance, all the different tribal dance that you're seeing. I pointed that out in those 2 videos talking about them. Look on the channel, please. And I pointed it out in Beyonce's video. It is this tribal-esque. We need to return to the old ways, the old religion, paganism, earth worship. We need to embrace every emotion and urge that comes across. This all ties it together. The common factor here is Satanism. So Satanism is being promoted in the mainstream, and true to form, nobody cares. This is shocking. And it's in Pitbull Terrier too.